Alright, so this is the current welcome screen and transition in the Evernote iOS 7 app. It's a very standard and static transition. I'm showing you this because I've taken a look at it and kind of done my own take on it, but I first wanted to start with how it currently works so that you have a good picture of that.
Alright, so this is kind of my exploration of like what could be done. And so I've used QC in this case to explore a possible sign up screen options. So in the background I have a dynamic kind of wallpaper or backing running that it's got these kind of blurred circles scaling in a randomized pattern, kind of overlapping in some cases between each other. And that's going behind both this modal and generally around the screen altogether. In terms of when you click, I've gone for something that's really quite fluid and dynamic in its movement. And if you look quite closely, some of these here are separate to the modal itself. So when the content slides in, there's a ever so slight amount of detail as these come to rest on a slightly different timing, as though they're really being moved in that direction as that new sheet has slid in. It creates a really nice feel, just seeing that small movement that's different to the back plane. And what I've also done is I keep the Evernote fixed in place, the Evernote logo, and just transition the content around it. And that also just adds a really different feel to that screen as you move back and forth, but as you'd also just progress through them. So it's real, just kind of a lot of subtle little detail and this kind of wallpaper that's at the back bleeding through, just creating something that's quite interesting and a different feel for the user on first open for something when they're just about to get started and sign up and log into their Evernote account. So that was this kind of an exploration that I did just to have a look at how it possibly could be, but just from time to time I don't mind looking at these things and just seeing how I might possibly go about looking at it, and this is just one possible exploration, but I'm sure I could easily take it in a different direction as well. But if you do compare it to the earlier screens, they're very static in comparison. It's definitely a different direction this way, just with all these subtle amounts of movement. And hopefully on the video you'll be able to see kind of the timings of how these two screens transition and come in. But it creates a completely different feel when you compare it to the first ones that I showed just before.